I'm Paul Harris, filling in for McGraw. Jeff Gordon's in the studio today. You know Jeff from his years at the Post-Dispatch and online now at stltoday.com. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Good to be here with you.
Before we talk about Cardinals or golf or anything else, you and some of the guys in the studio were just talking about a Twitter fight you've been following online.
Yeah, Cortland Finnegan's been known to be a bit of a cheap shot artist on the field, but he also took some digs at a former teammate via Twitter last night. Craig Dahl left the Rams, went to the Niners as a free agent safety. I don't think he was a great player here. I don't know why the Niners signed him, but the Niners did get some intel from him. Craig was explaining to reporters out in the Bay Area that he told the Niners coaches why the Rams were so good against the Niners offense last year, said we picked up this read, that read. You guys really were giving away, whether it was a run pass. And he kind of walked through it all with the coaches and explained this to the reporters. Mm-hmm. Pretty common stuff that happens when guys change teams.
Right.
But then Cortland Finnegan jumped in and went after him and said, we're
called him a traitor or something like that?
Well, yeah, basically insulting him, saying we're coming at you, thanks for the tips. We're looking for you and so on and so forth. So, it's only June and these guys are already working up a good lather.
How much of that will stay lathered up through late August and Labor Day?
Well, that's going to be a great race this year. You talk about teams that don't like each other, Seattle, San Francisco, the Rams. The Rams played Seattle and San Francisco really well last year. Mm-hmm. Those are arguably the two best teams in football. Man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun, and at times contentious football season.
While we're talking football, you said, I don't know why they signed the guy. Exactly my thoughts earlier this week with the Patriots and Tim Tebow. What's the story there? Why?
Well, a couple things. One, Bill Belichick is big friends with and really respects Urban Meyer, and this may be a favor to help get the kid back into football. They really like their backup quarterback. They obviously like Tom Brady. They don't know what Tim can do. But there is one other hook there. Josh McDaniels loves Tim Tebow. Josh was here as an offensive coordinator. Of course, he was a coach in Denver, made the big play for Tebow. So, was it a favor to Urban Meyer to get him back in the game? Was it Josh McDaniels saying, I can find something for this guy to do? Maybe we can make him a tight end. I'm not sure, but it is the ideal situation. There's no circus in New England. I mean, Bill Belichick shut all that down.
Yep. But Tebow's essentially going to be the clipboard and sweater guy, right?
Yeah, unless they make him into a tight end or an H-back and move him around a little bit because their tight ends were beat up, Hernandez and Gronkowski. We don't know if he'll play again, Gronkowski, this year. So, I don't know what their plans are, but all that media crush in New England, Belichick shot it down as only he can.
All right, we just heard that the U.S. Open golf tournament today, day one, suspended play, but they were supposed to have this threesome with Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Adam Scott. Do they do that just for TV?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at some of the pairings, what they came up with. Putting together either stars or golfers who are similar, it's absolutely. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's a real shame we're not going to see that for a couple days. It could be a very long, dicey, and ugly event out there with this weather, but that would have been a lot of fun had it happened today.
Yeah, that weather that's affecting the East Coast is affecting the Cardinals too, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be real optimistic about that game, and it's a shame because Matt Harvey, a really good young pitcher, he hasn't got a lot of run support, but he is special. He against Wainwright, that would have been fun.
Yeah, and Westbrook, is he coming back this week?
He is. He's going to start Friday. They're going to have to decide who goes back to Memphis and the ever-changing pitching staff, but getting one more veteran back will be a good thing for this team. They're rolling. This team's got a chance to just be super special this year with all of the pitching. It just keeps coming.
Yeah, what do you think of the new guy, Waka?
He's got something to learn. He's got to develop a curveball. He looks like Wainwright. If you put him out there in Wainwright's uniform, you wouldn't notice the difference for a while, except when he tries to throw a curveball. not a great curveball.
It hangs a little bit too much, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. But, boy, great change-up in a mid-90s fastball, and he really knows what he's doing.
And I'm sure you were up late last night watching all three overtimes of the Blackhawks and the Bruins.
I'm getting too old for those types of games. But that's Stanley Cup hockey. It comes down to a bounce or a double deflection. And they're just out there playing their guts out. Nothing like it, overtime hockey in the NHL.
Anything else going on in sports these days? That's pretty good. We had the NHL, Major League Baseball, golf, and the NHL.
Well, let's hope we have golf this weekend. I mean, there's nothing worse and sad, or more sad than watching golf commentators sit there in the rain and have nothing to do but talk about
Now,
rain.
what happens to the schedule of a major like that? I mean, if they're going to be rained out today and it looks like they have bad weather coming for tomorrow as well, it's a 4-day event. What happens?
Well, it gets pushed back. I mean, you can try to double up and start real early and finish real late, but those first 2 rounds is tough to do with all those golfers.
Yeah.
It's a huge event. So this thing could drag into next week.
Do they make them do 36 in a day ever?
That can happen, but it's when you talk about the start of a tournament and all those golfers before you make the cut, it's an army of guys out there. I don't know how you're going to manage this.
And what, speaking of having to reschedule things, the Cards and the Mets, if they don't play today, are they there for the weekend?
Well, no, they're heading down to play Miami. So, I don't know. It's going to be a tough scenario what happens down the road. But I wanted to see that game. I wanted to see the golf, but I can't control the weather.
If you could, why would you be sitting here talking to me?
Right.
We don't pay nearly enough for that sort of power.
I'd be Thor throwing bolts at people.
That's Jeff Gordon, columnist for STL Today, here on the McGraw Show with Paul Harris on the Big 550 KTRS.